this was when I first got to Hong Kong. It was my first Monday in Hong Kong, and my trainer was a native, and so my Chinese wasn't very good, her English wasn't very good, so like she told me we were going over to an investigator's house, and that the investigator had only been taught like a couple times and had two kids, two little kids, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and that's pretty much all I knew. She said that like the 3-year-old, like she said to watch out for the 3-year-old because she steals stuff out of your backpack. And so I was like, okay. And so I really had, and she was just like, but just bear testimony on how the gospel has blessed your family. And so I just like kind of went in there and was just like, whatever. I didn't know what was happening. And the lesson was like, it was really distracted. The 1-year-old and was crying the whole time, and the 3-year-old was stealing stuff out of her backpacks the whole time. And so the investigator wasn't really paying attention, and she just kind of focused on her kids being crazy. The fellowshipper was trying to help, but overall, like the lesson wasn't going like very smooth. And I just remember thinking like, oh no, like what's happening here? And this investigator, she was from mainland China, and so she had absolutely zero religious background, like not even Buddhism. Like she really didn't know anything about God or anything. And so at the end, like my trainer was talking the whole time. I just like bore my, 2-sentence testimony on how the gospel has helped me and my family make correct choices or something like that. Something super simple. And so then my trainer asked her to pray, and she was like, no, I don't even know what prayer is. Like, I don't know any of the stuff you guys are talking about. And my trainer's just like, oh, come on, just give it a try. And they were just kind of going back and forth for about 10 minutes. And finally she was just like, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll pray. And so she said the prayer, and literally like the second she started to pray, the Spirit just like filled the room, and it was so strong. And I honestly didn't understand a word of her prayer. But by the end of it, she was just bawling. She was just in tears, and everything was so calm. And we set up an appointment and left. And I just asked my trainer afterwards, what happened in there? Like, I don't even know what she said, but it was really good. And she said that it was really good. And basically that the investigator had asked God, like, if you're really there, could you take away, she's like, I've done a lot of bad things in my life. If you're really there, could you take them away? And so that was, I think, her first really experience with the atonement. But it just went from there. She started to progress. It was really difficult because she'd go back to mainland China a lot and for weeks at a time. And so our communication with her was really hard. We were never sure when she was in Hong Kong and when she wasn't. And her husband was very opposed to any sort of religion, especially Christianity. And he would always make fun of her and like always say not very nice things and call and yell at us sometimes, and just, I don't know, he was really hard to work with. But we knew that day that she felt the Spirit, and she knew it too, and she knew that God was there and he loved her, and that Jesus Christ was there for her. And so she started to read the Book of Mormon, and she could interpret the scriptures better than me, and she had been reading them for like 2 months, and I'd been reading them my whole life. And she was just so humble, and so, what's the word I'm looking for? She was just so receptive to the Spirit. And she was baptized about 5 months later, and is just, I don't know, she's definitely helped me strengthen my testimony in the gospel of Jesus Christ and the restoration. And so, I don't know, I love her. She's a great example to me. And I don't know, that was one of I don't know, she's just such a special person to me. And I'll never forget that experience.